Hello, welcome to this Market Snapshot with myself, Jasper Lawler, the Senior Market Analyst here at LCG. It's a big day for UK assets, for UK markets. We've already seen the British pound break out to 6-week highs today. We're looking at the FTSE pushing into the lowest it's been this year. So the reasoning being, last night, the British MPs voted overwhelmingly to trigger Article 50 for the UK to leave the EU. Now today, we have the release of the government's white paper on exactly how they're going to go about those negotiations with the EU on how to exit, what kind of deal we're aiming to get on leaving the EU. And we also have the Bank of England meeting. Now, they're not expected to set interest rates, but it is, in addition to the policy being set, there's also minutes of the meeting and there's also the inflation report, quarterly inflation report. What we're expecting there is for growth forecasts to be moderated slightly higher. The economy has performed much better than the Bank of England originally forecasted after the Brexit vote. Also possibly, given that sterling is now the highest it's been, close to the highest it's been since the flash crash back in October, we're now expecting maybe the Bank of England would revise down their inflation forecasts a bit because that pound effect on imported goods is not going to be as strong as it would otherwise have been. Now, there's a risk that obviously they don't do that, particularly on the inflation side, that they maybe call it a transitory move higher in sterling and still think that inflation is going to push higher next year. That being the case, that would continue to support the British pound on the inflation side, because it just would mean that maybe we're at the point at which no more rate hikes are to come, and that the Bank of England's next move would be, there's no more cuts to come, the next move would be a hike. So the white paper, if that signals a hard Brexit, with perhaps not so much of a focus on an equivalence to passporting for the banks, not really prioritising trade versus protecting the borders, that could again trigger a bit of a sell-off in UK assets, send the pound lower, and then it would be a matter of which factor is the biggest over the FTSE. Typically when the pound goes lower, the FTSE goes higher, but if there are some sectors that are particularly hurt, particularly like strong weighted sectors like banks, the FTSE could roll over too. Now we're going to have a quick look at that sterling chart now. Now again, just starting from a longer term perspective, this is the weekly chart. Not too much doubt here that it's a strong downtrend, but what we're looking at here is the potential for a double bottom, i.e. a bearish reversal pattern, a bullish reversal pattern, which could instigate at least a new sideways range or in fact a new bull market. And so the big level here is basically 127 in around these two areas of resistance highlighted here. If we dot down to the daily chart, we can see how the previous downtrend that was in place has quickly reversed. When we saw that first move after Theresa May's speech, we started to get a lot more positive on sterling. The currency has moved higher since, and we're pushing into this first area of resistance, which is basically from this high back in November, and that's around 126.75. The next level we're looking at is the 127.30 type area, and obviously 127 being in the middle. But you can see when we drop down to, so it's looking a lot more supportive. It looks like the moving averages are crossing here, supporting an uptrend. Then if we drop down to the shorter term chart, you can see the dynamic of what's happening. We had a correction, but since here, the market started breaking resistances again, came up to this old resistance, pulled back, closed above on the short-term basis, pushed higher again, little pullback, now we've broken higher again, and we're above this previously mentioned higher level of resistance as of this morning. So sterling is trending higher, but we're heading into a big area of resistance. So if there is going to be any fallout and a reason to change the trend in sterling, it would be these events that we're talking about today. So at the moment, investors are buying the rumour. The question is whether they sell the fact. So that's the end of our market snapshot. Thank you very much for watching. We're going to see how these developments with the Bank of England and the government's white paper affect sterling today. Good luck with trading.